Okay, welcome everyone. As we get underway here on a beautiful Tuesday evening, as the shir is co-sponsored by the Rezepkowitz family in honor of their parents, co-sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazan, the Fushalema for Shoshana Bas Panina, Simone Bas Rachel, co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Lila Nishmas Yitzhak Ben Avram Yehuda Levi, co-sponsored by Shelley Zeitlin for his children Eli, Orit, and Ora, and by Baruch Goldwasser for my refuah, my Shmei Ben Esther Fadl, also for Shalem for Dov Meir Ben Chaya Gittel, and for Akar Satoif to the Shir, by Shalom Fogel, Ili Nishmas, Yaakov Zeb Ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, and Yosef Ben Sion Ben Yaakov Zev, that the Neshama should have an Aliyah. We welcome in over here in the shul. It's nice to have a beautiful olam here. As Berish Gesseman is joining us, and Gedalia Engel, and Chaim Kramer, Michal Avram Chavin, Shlomi Yehuda, Ruben Shannon told me he will be late tonight. We welcome in over here Dov Solkowitz. Dov, we're missing you by Mincha Marv. I just want to tell you. Irving Fishbaum. Yeah. The Rebbeinu Shem should give you a full shalom. Everybody misses you.
Thank you.
And Saba is here with us. Yaakov Warman, Menachem Yamansky, Yitzi Fuchs, Dr. Guy, Marshall Castle and family, Baruch Ian, Rabbi Kranz, A.B. Spry. It looks like you're in your sukkah, A.B. Is that in your office? He can't unmute it. Yisrael Fisher, Nachman Chapler, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, Abe Arbach, Ilya Shutman, Avram Rezepkowitz, and Eddie Chazan has just joined us, and we are finishing another parak, the sixth parak, and we are holding on the bottom line of Daf Mem Chesamid Beis. Baruch Hashem. The bottom line of Mem Ches. Okay. Amen. It should be a safe trip, and it's Hashem. We welcome in also Mark Frankel and Shimon Klein, who has just joined us. David Helfgott on Kol Lashon. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav. Remember we said that David HaMelech's curse on Yoav boomeranged back at him. And that's what it says, Hainu de Imre Inche Tehei Luta. You should be rather amongst those that are cursed, V'loi Tehei Lota, rather than being the person that curses others. It's a very, very dangerous business to curse others. First of all, the Rebbeinu Shalom then puts his periscope on a person. Who is this person that thinks he could curse other people? And it's never good. It's always good to say, Rebbeinu Shalom, just like I look away from people, so you should look away from the things that I do. Asyu Yoav Ladine. So remember, they said to bring Yoav, to take him from the Mizbeach, and to judge him. So Amalei, so there were two counts against Yoav. One was for the death of Masa, and one was for the death of Avner. So Amalei, my time Kotlase la Avner. Why did you kill Avner? So Yoav, of course, had an answer. Amalei Gael Adam da Asal Have. Avner killed my brother Asael, and I was his avenging relative. So the Gemara says, what do you mean? Asal Raidafave. Asal was chasing someone to kill him. And that's why Avner killed him. So, you can't say that he killed him without reason. Amalei, so he said, well, Avner should have hit him in a non-vital organ. In other words, he could have stopped him without killing him. He should have shot him in the foot, stopping him without killing him. Amalei, so they said, lo yachale. Avner was not able to do that. That takes precision. He wasn't able to do that. Amalei, so he said, look how he killed Asoel. He shot by the fifth rib. Now the fifth rib causes the detaching of the gallbladder and the liver. And it's a fatal blow. Avner smote Asoel ba'achrei achanis, with the back of the spear, el achaimish, by the fifth rib. Amar Rabbi Yochanan medoifen chamishis, the fifth rib, b'makom shemara v'kavei tluyim by, the place where the gallbladder and the liver is suspended. And therefore, if he had such precision, be'echad me'ivarav lo yachalei, he wouldn't be able to kill him, to stop him by hitting him in his foot or in a place where he would, where it's not lethal.
How do we know he did it there on purpose? He was running and he reached back. Maybe he just hit him wherever he hit him. It just happened to be. It was there.
That's what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara was saying it showed an incredible precision. That he mamish got the spot exactly. Amalei, so the Gemara says, okay, and don't forget, by the way, that here we're saying something for defense. You can't say, how do I know?
What?
You can't say, how do I know? You want to say that that you want to put him to death because he was because you want to put him to death because he was a rodef.
You just have to hit him somewhere that's going to make him stop.
Right.
You don't have to kill him.
Correct.
And he's running and he's reaching back without looking. It's like he's doing it blindly.
I'm saying, but you want to put to death Yoyev for this argument.
Oh, okay.
So Amalei, so he said, you know what? Nezel Avner. We'll put Avner to the side. Okay, we're ready to put Avner to the side. But there's another count against you. My time at Kotlasei Amasa. Why did you kill Amasa? Amalei, Amasa married B'malchasam. Amasa rebelled against the king. Now we know that rebelling against the king is a capital offense, right? So Amasa rebelled against the king. He didn't follow the orders of the crown. David HaMelech said to Amasa, Hazek li es ish Yehuda shloishes yomim. Gather for me the people of Yehuda for 3 days. Make sure that I have them in 3 days. Vayelech Amasa lahazek es Yehuda vayocher. He went to gather them, but he delayed. He didn't do it with the time constraints that the Melech told him. And therefore, Yoyev says that means he didn't follow the command of the king, and therefore he was a Mari B'Malchus. Amalei, so Baniyahu said, Baniyahu, who was judging him, said, Amasa achin v'rakin darash. Amasa darshan the limitations. We know that anytime the Torah says ach or rak, it's a limitation, right? Gam is l'rabbis, and ach v'rak is a limitation. We'll see that they were learning Torah. And since they were learning Torah, that's why he delayed. Ashkechinu de psichelu b'mesechta, that they were learning a sugya. Amar ksiv kol ish asher yamre es picha, any man who rebels against your mouth, v'lo yishma es devarecha l'chol asher titzavenu, and doesn't take instruction for all that you commanded, you must. Yachal afilu l'divrei Torah. I might think even if it comes at the cost of learning Torah, Yachal afilu l'divrei Torah, Talmud Leimer rak chazak ve'emotz. It says that you should only be strong and courageous. So therefore, he wasn't faulted, he wasn't blamed for delaying the troops because they were learning. Says the Gemara, but rather, Yoav, you are a Moyed B'Malchus. Elahu Gavra Moyed B'Malchus Abi. Yoav was a Moyed B'Malchus. The Chsiv, Vashmua Bo Ad Yoav, the report came, Ki Yoav Nota Achrei Adoniyah. Yoav was inclined to assist in Adoniyah's resurrection against his father. Adoniyah went against his father David HaMelech, but Yoav was inclined to help Adoniyah, but V'achrei Avshalom lo nata. Avshalom's insurrection, I said resurrection, insurrection. Avshalom's insurrection, as we welcome in our 31st Zoomer, Baruch Hashem, Avshalom's insurrection, Yoav wasn't involved in. My loy nata. Amr Reb Yehuda shebikesh lintais, he taka wanted to rebel with Avshalom too. But the loy nata, or my time loy nata, why didn't he participate in that? Amr Reb Eliezer adayin l'chlukas shel David kayemes. David HaMelech still had some of his moisture, in other words, some of his vigor, and therefore Yoav was afraid. But already at the time of the rebellion of Adoniyah, David HaMelech was old, and therefore Yoav participated in Adoniyah.
Didn't Amasa follow Avshalom? In Avshalom's rebellion, didn't Amasa go with him?
And therefore what?
That would have made him Moed B'Malchus.
Yeah, but now we're not holding that. Now we're saying that Yoav himself is a Moed
I know,
B'Malchus.
but before we said about he said, why did you kill Amasa? He could have answered, Yoav could have answered, Amasa was Moed B'Malchus.
Maybe he wasn't aware of it.
Who wasn't aware?
Yoav. But anyway, Yoav had an answer for that. Amar Reb Yehuda, excuse me, Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina Amar, Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina says that Yoav was afraid to participate in the rebellion of Avshalom because Adayin Itztagnine Shel David Kayam. Now this is a borrowed phrase. It doesn't really mean the astrologers of David, but it means the strong men of David were still around because David HaMelech had 400 children from Yefas Toya, from beautiful maidens. They were children of other nationalities, and they went in the front of his troops, and they were very powerful. David had 400 children. Kulam b'nei Yefas Toya. They were all children that he had with his mating, beautiful captives. They maintained the hairstyle of the pagan hairstyle in order to put a fear in the troops, which was they shaved the front of the head and the back of the head, had hair and had long hair. They went in the front of the troops, and they were the strong men of David. Says the Gemara, Opliga de Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana. This that the Gemara is saying that Yoav he considered being part of the overthrowing of Avshalom, and then he was involved in Adoniyah's insurrection. This is not like Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana. The Amar Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana, Ilmolei David, if not for David, Lo Yasi Yoav Milchama. Yoav would not have been successful in battle. The Ilmala Yoav, and if not for Yoav, Lo Yasik David B'Torah, David HaMelech wouldn't have been free to learn Torah. The Chsiv Ahi, David Oisa Mishpat, Utstaka L'chol Amai. David HaMelech did justice and righteousness for his nation. The Yoav ben Tzruya ala tzva. Yoav ben Tzruya handled the army. Matam David Oisa Mishpat Utstaka L'chol Amai. Why was David free to do justice and righteousness with his people? Mishum the Yoav ala tzava. Yoav was a commander-in-chief. Matam Yoav ala tzava. And why was Yoav successful as a commander-in-chief? Mishum David Oisa Mishpat Utstaka L'chol Amai. Vayetze Yoav me'im David. Yoav went out from David. Vayishlach malachim achrei Avner. Now the Gemara is going to tell us how Yoav killed Avner. Vayoshivu Isai mibor hasira, and they recalled him from bor hasira. My bor hasira. What's bor hasira? Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana. So now Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana over here has a different opinion why Yoav was killed. Bar V'Sira, no. What's the reason why Avner deserved to die? Bar V'Sira Garmulay La Avner Shiyaharik. It was the incident with the canteen and with the thorn that caused Avner to be killed. There were two times where David HaMelech chanced upon Shaul while he was sleeping, and he could have killed him, but instead of killing him, he took his canteen, and he used that as a proof that he wasn't a traitor to Shaul and an enemy of Shaul, because you see he had the canteen and he could have killed him. Avner deflected the proof, and Avner said that it's possible that one of the soldiers gave David HaMelech the canteen, and he didn't have an opportunity to kill him. The other thing was a similar event that David HaMelech chanced upon Shaul, and we all know that instead of killing him, he cut the corner of his garment, and then he used it as a proof that he could have killed him, and he didn't. And again, Avner deflected it by saying that it's possible that the garment was cut by a thorn, and David HaMelech found it. So again, he deflected that which would have made peace between David HaMelech and Shaul. Vayateyu Yoav el toich hashar lidaber ito basheli. And Yoav inclined and turned towards the gate. Lidaber itai, to speak with Avner Basheli. Now Basheli is the root of Shalom and Shalva, and it means that ostensibly he wanted to speak with him in peace. But actually, this was an act of guile that Yoav did in order to be able to kill Avner. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Shedanu din Sanhedrin. What Yoav did was he paskined like a Sanhedrin. Amalei my time at Katalte Asal. Why did you kill Asal? So Avner said, Asal right for you. He was chasing me to kill me. That's why I killed him. So you should have shot him without killing him. So lo yechilile. So Avner said, I don't have that kind of expertise. So he argued at him, what do you mean? I saw you killed him. You killed him by hitting him precisely in the fifth rib. You couldn't have stopped him without killing him. So therefore now, Yoav was going to kill Avner as a Goyal Adam. Now you'll say he doesn't need a Bezdin to be a Goyal Adam. Right? So he was going to kill him as an avenging relative. So what does it mean, L'daber itoy basheli? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav al iskei shalu, about removing a shoe. Now this is from the lashon of Shalom Alecha Mi'al Raglecha. He wanted to know what's the halacha about a gidemes, a woman that doesn't have hands. Can she do chalitza? We'll see that in a minute. Anyway, he asked him, what's the halacha? As we welcome in Shimon Deer and Itchy, so nice. And Barry has made it, and he's not showing us his full face because he's okay. I figured he was already practicing his costume, but okay. Barry, when he prepares for Purim, it's Shailin V'Doshim B'Hilchas Purim Shoshim Yaim, so Tu B'Shvat, he knows, is Shoshim Yaim, so.
I'm very firm, I can do more than 30 days, I have extra endurance.
Yeah, okay. I think Barry one year is going to be an Afikoman, and everybody will steal him.
That's special.
Now,
Did anybody confront Avner why he killed Saul?
Yoav did.
I'm sorry?
Yoav did.
Yoav confronted him.
Yeah, that's what we're learning here.
So he took him to court, or
He didn't take him to court. He judged him like a Sanhedrin. Remember, a Goyal Hadam, he did it as a Goyal Hadam.
doesn't need the Sanhedrin?
Well, Gemara says that the person should go right away to court. But what if he doesn't get to court? Now, so again, what happened is he asked him to show him what would a woman without hands do. So he bent down to show him that he could take it off. She could take it off with her mouth. And when he bent down, that's when Yoav killed him. Vayakeo sham ala chaimish, and he hit them there on the fifth rib. Reb Yechanan b'doifen chamishis, in the fifth rib. Makom shemara v'chavei tluyim, by the place where the liver and the gall is suspended by. So the Gemara says, Shlomo, we know, ordered Benio to kill Yoav. V'heishiv Hashem as domoi al roishai. Hashem will give him his desserts and will return the blood that Yoav took upon his head. Asher poga b'shnei anoshim tzadikim v'toivim imenu. He killed two men, righteous and better than him. In other words, Avner and Amasa. Toivim, Shayadoshin, Toivim is a lashon of Torah, in Toivel Torah. Shayadoshin Achin V'Rakin. Now we know that Amasa Darshan Achin V'Rakin, and that's why he wasn't a Morid B'Malchus. So, but what about Avner? Where did he Darshan Achin V'Rakin? So they say that again it was limiting, and it's I hear the footsteps of Ruvain Shannon. I'm right. I knew it. I knew it. What do you mean? I'm Dan Lekavskus, that you would be here as soon as you can.
Yes.
If everybody would allow me, I'd start over from the beginning, but
It's okay.
Shelley gets a little nervous. Shelley.
Grab what I can.
Uh,
I'll grab what I can.
Mark is looking at me. He said, Rabbi Weiss, I'm here. Don't give me any trouble, So anyway,
Frankel.
we know that the terrible episode of David HaMelech and Noivir HaKahanim, right? That Noivir HaKahanim provided David HaMelech with a weapon, and provided David HaMelech with food, and Shaul told Avner to execute Noivir HaKahanim, and Avner didn't, and he argued that it wasn't proper. So this was also a type of akin v'rakin, limiting the power of the throne. Tzadikim, Avner and Amasa were more righteous. Shehein bapeh, they were issued commands to do something, v'loy asu, and they didn't do it. Right? We just said about what Avner was issued to do it, and he didn't do it. And Amasa was also issued to gather the people in 3 days, but they were learning, said he didn't do it. While the Hubi Igeres, Yoav was sent a letter by David that he should send Uriah Hachiti to the front of the lines. And that was already a very iffy business. And Uriah Hachiti was killed, and he listened, even though he only got it with a letter. Hubi Geres and Asa. Amasa lo nishmar b'cherev asher b'yad Yoav. Amasa was not careful with the sword that was in the hands of Yoav. Why? Shaloi chashadu. Amarav shaloi chashadu. He never suspected that Yoav would kill him. So now the Gemara says that Yoav, and now we're going to hear, we don't want people to get the wrong idea about Yoav. We're going to hear how great Yoav was. Vayikover bebeisai bamidbar. They buried him in his house in the desert. Now, what does that mean? Who has a house in the desert? Oto beisai midbaru? Was his house in the desert? Amrav Yehuda Amarav Kamidbar. Yoav's house was like a desert. Ma midbar mufker lakol, just like a desert is available to everyone. Af beisa shel Yoav mufker lakol. Yoav was extremely charitable, and he gave everything to people. Davar acher kamidbar. Ma midbar menuka megezel v'arayis. There's nobody in the desert, so there's no theft and immorality. Af b'isay shel Yoav menuka megezel v'arayis. It also was clean of theft and arayis. V'Yoav yechaya es she'ar ha'ir. And Yoav brought to life. He kept alive the rest of the city. The Gemara tells us that Yoav, when he did charity, he didn't only give bread and water. He gave tasty foods to keep people alive. Amar Rav Yehuda afilu monine v'tzachanos atoim. Even tasty small fish with its delicious gel, with the kuchina, as they say in Hungarian, paraslu, he would give to the poor. So Yoav had a lot of zechusim, and we're dealing with great people over here. Hadrulach nigmar adin, hadrulach nigmar adin, hadrulach nigmar adin. Now, we're back to putting people to death, Barry. The Gemara says, Marsha looks jealous.
I'm just hungry. I'm waiting for my cookies to get done.
I smell them. They smell very good.
I'm waiting for the burger to wash it down with too. We're short 18 Zoomers.
I know. I don't know why you don't do something about it.
I've got 45 cookies. Can we count them?
Arba Mises Nimsru Lebezdin, there are 4 modes of execution. Skila Sreifa Hereg V'chenik. The most severe is stoning, then there's burning, then there's decapitation, then there's strangling. Rabbi Shimon argues on 2. Rabbi Shimon is Sreifa, the most severe is burning, then skila, then stoning, then chenek, then strangulation, and the hereg, and decapitation, and the Mishnah will say, we won't learn that until the next Mishnah, but this is like with a colon, zu mitzvahs aniskom. The following are those that are stoned, and that will be the next Mishnah. Here comes the question. Is there an order in the Mishnah? So Amar Rava, Amar Rav Schayra, Amar Rav Huna. Rava says the name Rav Schayra, says the name Rav Huna. Kol makom sheshanu chachamim derech minyan. Whenever the chachamim itemize a list, ein muktam u'mu'ocher, we don't pay attention to the order. There's no chronological order. Chutz mishiva samonim. The din is that if a woman finds a stain, and you want to determine if that stain is blood, so that she should be tummy as a nida, so you apply 7 types of detergent, and if it comes off, then we say that it's blood. If not, it's a dye. The Tanan Shiva Samonim Mavirin ala Kesem. In Masechtas Nida, it says that we put 7 detergents on the stain. Roik Tafel, the first is undiluted saliva. That means saliva of a person who didn't eat that day. Omei Grisen, and water that grits were soaked in. Omei Raglaim, and urine. Veneser, that's niter. Obiris, and soap. Camellia, Rashi says we don't know what camellia is. And ashleg. Ashleg is a pearl extract. V'katani seifa havir and shaloi kesidron, if you put them not in the right order, or shavir and shivasan ke'echad, or you put them all at the same time, loy asim loy klum, then it's not a good test. So you see over there, the order is precise. Papa Saba Mishmei de Rav Amar, Af Arba Mises, also the order of the 4 executions. Miflig Reb Shimon, since Reb Shimon does it in a different order, Shmami no Dafka Ketani. V'idach, why doesn't he count that exception? But Plukta like Kamari, when he was saying a rule, he wasn't talking about where they were arguing. Rapapa Amar Af Seder Yuma, also the order of how the Kohen Gadol did the procedure on Yom Kippur. Did not. Kol Ma'aseh Yom HaKippurim Amurim ala Seder, all of the order of the procedure of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, Im Hikta Ma'aseh L'Chaveiroi, if he did it out of order, Loi Asav Loi Klum. V'idach, and the other opinion says that's only a chumrah. How chumrah ba'alma? That's only a stringency. Rav Huna b'Rei B'Shoim Af Seder Tamid, also the order of the Tamid Shol, the Beis Hamikdash, the perpetual offering. Diktani Allah Zeu Seder Tamid. This is the order of the Tamid. This implies it should be this way. V'idach ha'ula mitzvah ba'alma. Again, it's not ma'akev. It doesn't invalidate. It's only l'chatchila. When he said that in other places the order is not precise, it's to exclude the mitzvah of chalitza. The Tanan, mitzvah's chalitza, if Avram was married to Sarah, Avram dies childless, and Shimon doesn't want to do yibum, so Sarah does the ritual of removing Shimon's shoe and spitting at him. So the procedure is as follows. Mitzvah's chalitza, bohu v'yivimtoi l'fnei bezdin, he, Shimon, and his sister-in-law Sarah come before Bezdin, and they gave proper counsel. In other words, the Gemara will tell us that they told an old man not to be miyabim a young woman, or a young man not to be miyabim an old woman. That's very important. Today in the shidduch world, people have these crazy ideas with shidduchin. But Bezdin says shidduch is min b'mina. You know, here's a man, a 70-year-old, wants to marry a 45-year-old woman. Wants to marry a 45-year-old woman. The bottom line is that's a 25-year difference, right? So that when she's 65, he's going to be 95. Right? So Bezdin would give them and say, you know what, if there's such an age difference, then don't do Yibum, even though it's an Indian of Lachim Lachim Shem, but we need to have a good marriage. Shenemar v'karu lo ziknei irai, the elders of a city summon him v'dibru elav, and they speak to him, they give him eitzah. V'yai meris, and then if Yibum is, the man doesn't want to be miyam, whatever reason. He refuses to take me. And he reiterates, I don't want to take her. And the procedure was done in Hebrew. And the sister-in-law goes close to him, she removes the shoe, and spits at him, spittle that can be seen by the judges. And she says, so should be done to the man. And then his name is called the Yisrael Beis Chalutza now. So it says that the procedure is first chalitza and then spitting. The order is Korash. She first says Me'on Yavami. V'Korei, he says Leichafatzti Lekachta. Chaletza, she removes the shuv. Reikekes, she spits. Rikaira, and she says Kachi Yasel Ish. V'Avinam Ba. And the Gemara says, what's Rabbi Yehuda doing? That's the Mishnah. My Kamash Malan, Masnitzani. Ha Kamash Malan, that mitzvah. It's only Lechatchila to be that way. But if it's out of order, it's okay. Tanyanami Hachi. Bein shehiktim chalitza l'rekika, whether the removal of the shoe comes before the spitting, or rekika l'chatzitza, or the spitting comes before the removal. Masha osel osel. And there's another case which is not in order. Ulafuke mahadit nan koyin gadol mishamish b'shmayna kelim. The Kohen Gadol wears 8 garments. The Hedyet ba'arba, and the regular Kohen wears 4 garments. B'ksainis, he wears the tunic. B'michnasayim, the pants. B'mitznefes, the hat. V'avneit, and the belt. Moisef alein Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol wears an extra 4 garments. The choshen, the breastplate. The ephod, the apron. Ume'il, the cloak. V'tzitz, and the foreplate that says Kodesh Hashem on the forehead. V'tanya, minayin shelo yedav kodim lemichnasayim. How do we know that nothing should come before the pants? Shenemar u'michnasei vad yiyo al b'sarai. And pants of linen, breeches of linen, should be on his flesh. V'tana my time aktame l'ksayna. So if the halach is that you have to do the pants first, so then why does it say first the tunic? Why does it say the ksainis first? Mishum da aktame kra, because the pasuk says the tunic first. So then the question is, why does the pasuk say the tunic first? The kra my time aktame. You know why? Because it covers the majority of the body. Mishum de michse kule gufe. So therefore, adifale, it's superior in that it covers the whole body. So you see that the Mishnah says the tunic first, but we don't pay attention to that order, and rather we do the pants first. Now it's interesting that the Gemara over here doesn't bring down Morah. Now, we all know that we say that whatever is first in the Mishnah says that there's 5 types of Morah, and we say whichever one is mentioned first is preferable. That's why a lot of people use Chazeres, because it's mentioned first of the 5 types of Morah. It says Chazeres, it says Tamcho, it says Ulshin, right? And those people that don't use the romaine lettuce, it's either because they don't know exactly the identity of Chazeres, if it's romaine lettuce, if it's iceberg lettuce, or because they're afraid of the bugs. But otherwise, everybody would use the lettuce first. So there you see that that's another case where we do the order and we don't say ein mukdam u'me'ucher. And I mentioned recently in a Chumash here, and I'm again surprised that the Gemara doesn't, that Reb Chaim didn't mention, at least I'm not aware of him mentioning it, where Reb Chaim was asked the Shaila, somebody wanted to give a huge amount for a medical wing in a hospital. It was a question whether you should give it to the wing of healing people that are having vision problems, or to give it for fertility. And Reb Chaim said that since it says 4 are considered like dead, a poor man, a leper, a blind person, and Misha Ein Leibanim, since it mentions the blind person first, we see that a vision problem is worse than somebody who doesn't have children, so you should give it to create a wing for sight. Now, so that, again, that's an example of where Reb Chaim is saying that there is a muktam u'ma'ucher, even though the Gemara says everywhere else is a muktam u'ma'ucher. So, I'm not exactly sure what he does with this Gemara. We're going to stop over here, Rabbi Isai. I did the Mishnah Yomis already. Tomorrow night, Emir Hashem, will be the Chumash share. Anybody who wants to sponsor, 718-916-3100, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.